Hello, 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 hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these wonderful and marvelously talented people have agreed to come and play a silly game with me tonight, which makes me very happy. Let's get to these people. Let's do that. We're playing a Tiny D6 game tonight using Tiny Frontiers rules set roughly. And from that, let's talk to these amazing people. Let's start with Bison. Bison _ Stonefist.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, myself is usually here. I play Saturdays and Sundays. Today I'm Feedback. Tomorrow I am Mr. Box. I have my own Twitch, Bison _ Stonefist. I'm throwing that in chat just now because I forgot to type it out earlier. And there I play video games. I think Cyberpunk last time. I don't remember. I just play whatever I want.
Yeah, because that's how that works. Thank you. Next, Roos Bar. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's move on. I see a steering wheel in front of you. What are you doing streaming-wise lately?
I haven't been yet. Got some stuff I got to deal with before I can get back into it because I can't hold a schedule right now.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll get to our schedule in just a moment. But first, two more peoples. Mana Queen, how you doing?
Hello. You know, hanging in there, getting through the busy season. I'm doing good. On Wednesdays, you can find me over at Wandering Haven Publications, where I play a very persnickety but sassy and really just a lovely person, rogue, as we run through Ravenloft. And obviously, I'm here on Saturdays. And you can also find me over on Twitter, too, on Mana Queen Games on Twitter. So I'll pop those links in chat, too, for anybody interested.
Chat's getting rather pushy about it. Those links. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry, Gloriosa.
And that brings us to Batcow. How you doing? Where are you up to?
Howdy. This is the only place that I can be observed, as Kevin pointed out last time. Otherwise, you know, I am behind the scenes many places, modding. I have a Twitter, but I barely use it except to generally retweet things. I really don't have a lot of digital footprint at this point. Do not perceive me.
You have been perceived.
That's pretty much it.
Speaking of perceiving, let's change the channel. Let's go into this fantasy world we occupy on Saturday evenings, the world of Harlequin ReduX. Of all that is written, I love only what a person hath written with their blood. Write with blood, and thou wilt find that blood is spirit. Paraphrased from Friedrich Nietzsche and also from the Harlequin 1990 module that this is based on. The four of you got home from space. I mean, how many people, wow. What an experience. You splash landed in the Indian Ocean and were taken on a world-class yacht all the way back to the West Coast, where you were dropped off and made your way home. Another $100,000 goes into your bank account. And I guess the obvious question is, until the next email comes through, what do you do?
Well, unless I don't remember from last one. I didn't actually hand the head off. Did I? Did anybody come to collect it?
Nope. They made zero mention of the head.
Well, for now,
other than that, we're getting a bonus for collecting it.
Yes, but you
get
to
they mentioned that, and that was it.
And which you're right, 20,000 extra for bringing the head, even though you get to keep it. Just taking it from there was worth an extra $80,000 to the person, or 80,000 credits to the person that you did this for.
That's not even counting the actual value of the head itself.
That's right. This is a priceless work of art. However, it is so unique, it might need to be, if you were going to sell it, you might need to disassemble it. But before
No.
So
you actually going to set the head up in my garage.
Yeah.
My very heavily fortified Some might even say paranoid. So garage.
Some might even
And,
call it a bunker.
they might.
Yeah.
If they ever got in, which they don't.
Which they don't. Yes.
And I'm gonna study and talk to the head. This thing is fascinating.
Yes. There's a small problem with that. The head doesn't talk back. You can power it up, you can push buttons, but it won't talk back.
Well, then I guess I'm studying more than I'm talking to it.
So you, I'm assuming at some point you would try and hook it up to another system and see, or
Yep.
diagnostics of some sort, right?
Yes, a
Yeah.
closed circuit
Yes.
system.
Yeah. And this is one of those, to steal from another game, this is another one of those take 20 moments.
Yeah.
You take as long as it takes to get this right. And you come up with a translator, basically, that allows this thing to communicate with software, and you open it up and it's empty. There's not a line of software left in it anywhere. But what I would like from you, are you technologically minded in any way that might help on this role?
Gee, I don't know. Let me see. I am an
Yes.
engineering.
Yes.
And I have the tinker power.
Okay, yeah. So give
So-
me advantage with 4s, 5s, and 6s as successes. I think that's fair, right?
That sounds
Take
fair to
all
me.
that stuff into account.
Come on, baby. Daddy needs a new talking head.
Yeah.
Thing.
664.
Wow. Okay.
I'm keeping these dice. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
go away.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. The
Everybody else
rest
go
of
off to the
the rest
left.
of you can take the night off.
These are my favorite children now.
Yes. So 3 successes
Well, that's
and
a
damn near a crit. Yeah. So yes, that is because 2 dice are 6s. So you get
Yeah.
the whole story. Wow, this is going to change things. And I like it. First things first. It isn't erased. It, for lack of a better word, evacuated. This software self-removed from this piece of hardware and went into the web.
Did I just unleash a rogue AI?
That would certainly be a reasonable conclusion to be drawn.
It's
When
probably not the only one out there. It's the fucking net.
when
That's
you
true.
bring your hands down, the screen in front of you, there's just a very simple, like a DOS text, the text
And
on
prompt.
the black screen, and it says C prompt : hello jet.
No, let's dumb it down and let's DOS it up. Hello, head. See, that's
And,
prompt, of course.
It kind of changes format because at this point, like a next generation, a little window, like one of those first generations windows pops up where they went to the trouble of beveling the edges and trying to make it look
Yep.
three-dimensional. Yeah. One of those pops up and says, allow download.
Are you
I'm gonna
gonna
check and
download
make
the
sure
weird
that
spooky
it's-
software.
First, I'm going to double check and make sure this thing is still on a closed circuit. Yes.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do it.
You watch what looks like in the flicker of transfer. It's a slow transfer because this head is analog, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing digital about it. It's going to take time, so you get to watch. It's like watching wingdings go by on the screen. Like none of it makes sense. It's in 40 different self-programmed languages. None of them interact with each other. It's you double credit it. It looks like neuronic connections, like brain connections. Everything's connected to everything, and that's the only way that this works.
I need to talk to feedback
And you're just watching this thing
and
fill
possibly
up.
somebody skilled in neuroscience, which is nobody in this group. All
Feedback
right.
has his own experience with neurons.
So can we leave you there with the head for a moment?
Yes. Yes.
'Cause
I'm not going to
you gave me
monopolize.
that nice spot where I need to talk to feedback. So perfect. Let's go then to Moose. Tons of money, not a care in the world. What do you do?
I'm going to go looking for a new safe house to build.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, give me a roll with advantage. Clippy. That was the next step.
One.
One success.
Yeah.
You find a place. It's easy to defend, but you're not quite sure how secure it would be in this. Like as far as getting into it's in a really nice neighborhood, so you'd be kind of obvious. You and your sort of buddies, mercenaries, marching up and down the street, going into and out of this house. So it's not ideal, but it is at least would be easily defensible. That's your first place you look at it.
Yeah. That's fine. It's gonna be a backup anyways.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not gonna be a place that I'm gonna go to a lot after I get it all done up the way I want it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's huge basement, lots of access to hidden places. So yeah. It's
For all anybody knows, I could be the contractor that's fixing the place.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're fixing it. Yeah. Either it's a fixer upper or a fixer downer, because it's in the basement. So yeah, you're building that. Okay, perfect. Jason, this should be interesting. What are you doing?
Jason really didn't like not being able to function in any and all spaces,
Nice.
even as a hologram. So he's going to take some time. I mean, he is an inventor, right? He's
Yep.
like a back alley inventor and things like that. So he's going to try to add some 0G programming into his software.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
he hated everything about that. And that's just like his only solution. Because first of all, he doesn't really need money. Of note, for the peanut gallery out there, Jason hasn't really spent a dime of
Nope.
the money that
Nope,
he's
you
earned.
got
It's
stuff.
just like sitting there.
So 0G, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, he's adding 0G. And
It's going to work. I want to know how well. Give me advantage. This is another one of those. Like it's not a 20 for 20. It's not a take 20,
Okay.
but it's close. So
Yeah,
3 days, 5s and 6s.
2 6s and a 3.
That's another critical
Another
success.
crit.
Yes. You because you were so low mass, your actual bead, it's the programming turns out so well that it is essentially, it doesn't mechanically work like this, but essentially you are not 0G, but you basically have anti-gravity. You can control yourself in pretty much any environment up to and including 0G.
Yeah,
move in full
he's
directions
just
because
like-
you double sexed it. So
yeah,
Yep.
he's not having it, not being able to function as a
so you will with that
literal
we'll
computer.
make a note somewhere because that's a big deal. You basically can't be spatially moved. Like you can move in pretty much any environment.
Yeah, as a computer, not being able to actually function like he wants
Oh, yeah.
to
That's
is
freaky.
like
Yep.
infuriating to him and freaky, and he hates it. So
Absolutely,
he is
yeah.
just like, yeah.
Yeah. So feedback. What's your plan?
Feedback. When he gets back, he was kind of thinking the AI or the head gave him some ideas and having to talk to himself for the first time on mission. That was interesting because he kind of he's been avoiding it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I imagine that would be a
So-
little weird.
Yeah, it would be a little weird, especially considering yourself doesn't have all the memories that you have.
Yep.
And it's weird. And so feedback, he starts getting starts contacting like the Norwegians and the Finns and stuff, looking into what they have for biomedical replacement.
Okay. So your long-term goal is to install you into you?
If not
That's an
if
interesting
that's not-
self-insert.
Yeah. Yeah, in a sense, he's kind of looking at his options because he knows the engram is smarter. He knows the engram is a lot bigger than it used to be. Like, I mean, that many years, that many years by itself, data grows and it starts becoming less of a human engram and more of an independent AI.
Okay. So you're looking into that. That's not really a role. That's
he's right now he's doing research because
Yeah.
he has money.
So yeah,
he knows he has
you're
money.
right. Then in that case, I mean, because you've got money, you get advantage because you get to choose everywhere: black market, gray market.
Yeah.
So give me an advantage roll to see what you find.
1-5.
Okay. All the standard places would do it for you for a fee, but there's lag issues and legality issues and what their worry is for these people is they're not willing to sort of parallel wire the two of them together. You're going to have to go deeper and darker, and you were unable in the period of time allotted so far. You were unable to find anybody who was willing to do it. So, well, to do it well, at least to integrate the two of you, rather than just have basically a computer sewn in under your armpit. All right.
He's not looking for a hitchhiker. He's looking for full integration.
Sort of reintegration.
And he knows that's harder than doing a relic.
Yeah. So with that, at that point, let's go back to Jet. You said I need to talk to feedback or somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take a couple little snapshots of the code that's coming across.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send it over secure communication to feedback and be like, this is what I'm getting out of what we procured.
Okay. So
you see this neuron connection map. You also notice the two of you, since you looked at it the first time, Jet, you look at it now, it's changed. Like since you've turned it back on, it's constantly, the connections inside it are constantly changing, and some of them are getting stronger and some of them are getting weaker. It's exactly like watching a brain develop, but at 10,000 times the rate.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it to the virus code that we got. I'm not going to activate either, but I just want to see if there are, because you said it was more than just a virus and it was beyond my basic understanding of so I'm going to start comparing how the two react.
Okay.
Or just sort of
give me a hack roll. This is more software, but that's under your hacking ability too. So
yeah.
The virus, the AI, and me.
2 5s.
Yeah. The Apple connection. Okay. 2 5s. So you see, you realize that the source code for the virus is kind of a skin, and there's another layer underneath it. And you get down into that, and it's fairly normal, except you see about half a dozen of these sort of wingding type symbols. Just enough to know that this virus, while not the same as the AI, was programmed by it.
Oh, the head programmed this virus. Okay, so I'm recognized. Okay, so it was the head, not Mindy?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. The head did it. Okay.
This would be like the grandchild virus. Mindy made the head, and then the head spawned the virus.
Grandma Mindy.
What do all these things have in common? Shh, Kevin. Shh. Yes, go.
I'm going to activate the virus in a closed instance. I used to know the term. I know exactly what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to basically show that to the head AI.
Okay.
Because at this point I can track I'm assuming that I can actually track that thing wherever it is in the net because of, I've got the signature.
Okay. That is a good assumption to have because it will clear something up. You
virtual machine. Thank you, Glorios.
There it is. Yes, but you you get this set up, and you can see the AI in the head, and you can see this virus, and you kind of show it its own work, and it just you can feel it sort of reach out and very gently just erase it. That copy
Oh,
from your disk. It's not a like trying to hide anything. It's more like, oh, I left that laying out. Let's clean that up. They're not trying to lie to you or cover it up. They acknowledge that you've seen the connection, and you get in that weird text, that DOS text on the screen. It goes back to that, and it says, "Not my finest work. That is still to come."
I'm going to actually type back to it. If that's not your finest, I'm floored.
At that moment, with the two of you in the call, all four of you received the email, the one that you always see with the logo on it, and it's
Feedback's eye visibly twitches.
it's this time when you open it up, though, there's no writing on it at all. It's just virtual tickets to an unnamed event. And the address that's given is right on the edge of the shitty part of town. It's for 9:00 tonight. One more note, feedback before you left. You said you were gonna you could access this thing now because you knew its sort of thing and you
Well, not
looked
so
on
much
the web for it.
access. It's like I know what to look for, so I kind of can tell where it's been.
Yes.
Mustard Trolley.
You apply that logic to the internet, and it's like looking at a mist. It's
It's fucking everywhere.
everywhere.
Completely
There is
disseminated.
not a node that it is not in. There's not a connection it's not on both sides of. It has become one with the World Wide Web.
As a cyberpunk player, I'm concerned because I know what the data crash is.
Yeah.
But feedback is just absolutely fascinated. Like his own dabblings with AI is basically his interactions with Jason and him dealing with himself.
Yep.
I've just woken up Ultron.
You pop back one more thing too on the invites. It says no weapons. Those with cyberware must wear suppressors.
mm.
Jason is suppressed. There is
Yeah,
his
I'm like,
cyberware. There is their cyberware.
Yours
cyberware.
specifically at the bottom has in brackets exceptions may apply.
Okay. Yeah, like I imagine Jason getting this invitation, seeing it, and being like, "Well, I can't go," and then getting like
And
another
then
ding,
the
and
other
like
line
the
prints
asterisk
on.
coming
Yep,
through.
exactly. Like in an email you've already opened, it
Yeah.
changes across the bottom live. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the level of money you're dealing with here. Yeah.
So I'm gonna type in the little DOS command like, so do we call you Skynet now? What's
HA. And this is no. Please call me Harlequin.
that is somehow far more concerning.
And like the real old school downloads, like it starts at the bottom and starts to print its way up one line at a time, is the image that's in all the art for this show. That
Mm.
carefully crafted, painted, bejeweled Harlequin face.
I forgot the R shit.
And it just builds up one line at a time on this screen.
I hope it feels some sort of gratitude when it conquers the world and starts pumping out the murder bots. All right, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna leave you to your download. I have to go do a thing.
And I guess you're still in that loop too. So feedback, what do you before the screen goes blank? Yeah, the fax machine. Yeah.
Oh god, that noise.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, feedback's just been kind of a pleasure to meet you. And then kind of says to his AI himself, good thing I didn't try to download that.
you get the the 2062 equivalent of big eyes emoji. Yeah. Even competent you in the box is like, yep, nope.
We'd have found feedback like just sprawled
Yeah.
out on the floor, foaming from every
Yeah.
orifice.
Yes. For every orifice.
Your alternate self is like, nope, they would take me roughly behind the bins. That's like, yeah, just like no chance, right? But with that, the invitation is for 9 o'clock tonight. I want to start with Moose and Jason because you two just get this invitation out of the middle of nowhere. So Moose, you're frustrated looking for your house. You come home one night and or your phone buzzes and you've got this email.
When I see the location, inspiration actually strikes me. I think I'm gonna actually look for something in a more rundown neighborhood, along the lines of maybe a abandoned service station.
Yep.
Like an old garage that that's been, because I can buy that on the cheap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a garage would be perfect because that would, you could justify having a whole bunch of equipment in a place like that.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm assuming you bring up a map at some point to sort of look at that's cheaper neighborhood, and you can't help but notice the address that's given here. It is right on that bad part of town, and there's lots of places like what you're looking for. This is almost one of them. This is a 3-story building that used to be retail on the ground floor with warehouses upstairs and then the basement for utilities and storage. But it's been rezoned as a meeting hall fairly recently. But there's also a number of, this is one of those ones that the further you go past their address, the cheaper shit's getting, but the nastier the neighborhood is, right?
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
You can handle myself in a nasty neighborhood.
Absolutely. So good idea. You get information and you find some promising locations. More promising than the one you were looking at in the nicer neighborhood. Jason.
I'm not gonna lie. Jason probably lives around this neighborhood.
Yeah, probably.
Like, Jason probably lives in and around this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because like what Moose is like looking for right now, Jason just kind of has. Like he needs like a not conspicuous type of warehouse, workshop type of place. And he doesn't really need a lot of like luxuries to live.
Sure.
So like he probably lives like in this neighborhood. Like he probably gets the address and he's like, oh, that's a block away.
That's just down there.
He's just like,
okay.
All right.
For that, I will reward you with this. You've walked past this building 100 times.
Really?
You know it. So
past.
And you have an eidetic memory. Yeah, you have an eidetic memory, so you remember absolutely every brick of it. From the lighting that you've seen during day and night walks around, because you don't sleep, so you're up and around all the time. You can figure out basically the upstairs must be open space and apartments.
Okay.
The main floor is really a wide open floor plan. It's like when there's lights on, almost the whole bottom floor lights up at once.
Okay.
There is on the roof, there's a huge skylight, like a pyramid skylight that runs half the size of the roof. And in front of the building and nearby are almost always parked some very practical vehicles. There's nothing fancy.
Okay.
Except you look out your window now and, even with a couple of hours to go, there is, it stands out. It's a Bugatti, an old school, like 1920s, 1930s Bugatti Royal with the big chrome pipes and the running boards and the whole schmeal. If it's the real deal, it's worth bazillions. And even if it's a copy, it's worth a ton. And you can see the personalized license plate, all capital letters, of course. LNCLT.
Wait, hold on. My out of character brain.
Yeah.
Lancelot.
LNCLT. Yep.
Yeah.
And you can also see out the door that, unlike normal, there are 2 guards standing at the door of this place right now that aren't normally there.
Okay, and they're just like at the front door, like to this. random open
They're
space.
basically like
Alright.
bouncers standing outside
Yeah.
this place. It's clearly not
As it
open
looks
yet.
like people have been like prepping the space for anything throughout the day, because like Jason would notice
yeah,
that.
absolutely. There are, in fact, given the invitation you just got, they're prepping for a big evening event. You can see them taking in food and tables and bunting and lighting and video equipment and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Okay.
You may
Jason
even
will.
know.
Okay.
For this, I'm going to make you roll because there's no sign. So
Okay.
you would have had to have heard it, and that's just pure luck. So give me 2 dice, 5s and 6s.
2 dice. 5s and 6s. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. A 6 and a 2.
A 6 and a 2. You do know this place. It is the Young Algiri Technologists Hall.
Okay. It's a technologist hall. Okay.
More horny text, just what we need.
So, Moose, do you share
And-
the information you gained, and Jason, do you share the information you
Yeah.
gained with the whole
Oh,
party?
Jason absolutely does.
Because you've assumed that all 4 of you got the invitation.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point.
Is anything
And-
anybody wants to do before they go? You've got all afternoon.
Jet doesn't figure Moose will really care about what happened with the head, so he's gonna more tell Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason is like, I mean, Jason is essentially the internet too, right? Like he
Kind
has
of,
a
yeah.
built-in hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he just kind of like beefs up like his security walls, right? He's like,
Yeah.
ah!
Yeah. Okay.
He like, and honestly, in the message back to Jet, like Jason doesn't convey emotion a lot. He's usually
Yeah.
pretty deadpan, but there's like this vague tone of annoyance.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to make
Another
that
rogue
worse.
AI? Fuck.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you power up, only to realize that you've locked yourself in a room that's already infected.
Oh, great.
You can see the haze in here. It is the feeling you get is utterly benevolent. There is positive emotion coming from this, not negative. It's very just sort of, I'm here. Right?
Okay. Jason's still annoyed.
Oh yeah.
He feels like
absolutely,
violated in
Oh,
a way,
yeah.
like, you know, like he's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so definitely
There are
like a
many
vague
advantages to
annoyance.
being a hologram. There's also 1 or 2
Yeah,
disadvantages.
yeah, there is.
So yeah.
So like the
Jet's gonna
message
be
back
like-
to Jet is
Yeah.
probably like, thank you for this obvious information. Right? Just like vague annoyance. Like he's
Yeah.
already aware that something has been released because he's felt it.
Look, if you don't use the proper protection, you can catch a virus. They teach you this in school.
And feedback's
Jason
like
wasn't-
my entire
Jason honestly
system
probably
is
just sends like a
closed.
blink emoji back, just like a single blink, just like back to Jet, like
Trojan.com
just like-
because no one wants to get infected.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is why I use NordVPN. NordVPN.
sponsored
NordVPN.
by.
NordVPN ribs for her. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm leaving.
Let's go. Yep. Let's stop that. There we go.
Yeah,
Anything anybody else wants to do before you go? Quick.
well, I'm gonna have to take everything offensive out of my bag of tricks and leave old Zappy behind.
Yep.
That makes me sad.
No weapons and cyberware. You have to be sort of suppressed.
Nobody ever
Feedback's very glad that all of his tech's in his glove.
Yep.
It's not a weapon.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
right. We'll see.
his
Yeah.
gun is the rattler.
Yep.
There's nothing, and but all he needs is a keyboard and he can fucking hack something. So
Absolutely. Moose. This should be interesting.
I'm taking the girls with me, but my 2 areas predators. I'm just gonna assume that they'll check me and take them at the door.
That's usually how this works. Yeah.
I'm not traveling unarmed.
No,
Forget
there's
that.
basically like lock boxes that you
Yeah.
put it's like at the hotel, you put your weapons in it, you close it, and then you program the the
Yeah.
code and give it back to them, and they lock it up until you leave. Yeah, that's absolutely an option.
Yeah. So when I
And
show
yes,
up, I
they've
just
got
like pull
one
my
big
jacket
enough.
open.
Yes, Jet, they've got one big enough. If you would like to, if you would like to retcon that decision.
No, because Jet's going to have things with him that could, when combined, become weapons,
Fair enough.
but by themselves are very innocuous.
I like it. Yeah.
Feedback's gonna bring with the new information, he is gonna bring his SMG. He's also gonna bring a couple of innocuous techie looking things that may be threatening,
Yeah.
but aren't. So, blinking lights, one of them beeps, another one's ticking.
Okay.
And hidden in all that is a tracker in case they decide to move it.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
And an Anoyatron 3.0.
Complete with its own AirPod. What about the drugs? Shh.
Oh, the drugs are on my person. They don't have to know about the drugs.
Yes. Nobody said they were illegal at this party either. So,
Exactly.
with that, the four of you make your way to this bash. You've got the virtual tickets on your phone. As you arrive, there's more vehicles out front than you saw earlier, Jason. But it's basically that, like, it looks like a PTA meeting. Like, it's all very, very practical vehicles parked all the way down the street on both sides, very nicely parked. Very, it looks like, they're very law-abiding people by the looks of it. Lancelot's vehicle is still there, just showing up and showing off all by itself. And the two guards are still at the door. Yes, absolutely. Cyberpunk minivans, yes. They look just like regular minivans, except the lights at the front are really, really narrow. And the whole thing's kind of
And there's
slammed, and for no good reason has really low-profile tires. Yeah.
And
The
don't forget
Cyberpunk
the
one's
ground
solar
effects.
powered.
And yes, the ground effects of the car that never goes more than 40 kilometers an hour because gridlock. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or engine limitations.
Yes. Yeah, it's hydrogen fuel. You stomp on it, it goes.
Stomp like a
Oh,
methane powered.
William Gibson image. The guy had taken a tiny one of the, I think they call them tuk-tuks, the little 3-wheel,
Yeah.
2-cylinder, 1-cylinder, 2-stroke, and it had been converted to run on hydrogen. So they just had this big bag, like this 8-foot round bag that floated out behind them full of hydrogen, and that's what fed them. Anyway, and it's trying to float away because it's hydrogen. Oh, it was a wonderful image. Anyway, back to this.
Make sure the driver's fat.
Totally smart car tires arranged like a diesel truck on an utterly nondescript van. Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to show up on my 120-year-old Harley Panhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little Lone Star bot just driving along beside you, writing you tickets every 50 feet. But yeah. That was just
It's registered to somebody else.
That was just it's
So that guy's getting all the tickets.
registered to a whole series of large corporations, and it just randomly assigns them in distance.
It's like that scene from Demolition Man, where every time he swears he gets the ticket, it's
Yeah.
like, no, ticket.
Yeah, and he can't figure out how to use the seashells, so he just starts swearing at the Yep. A brilliant plan. Anyway, so you arrive. The guards at the door check your invitations, and they do. Anybody who brought a weapon, they offer you a lockbox to put it in.
I kind of just imagine like a guard kind of looking at Jason and like handing a lockbox to Jet and then taking it back and handing it, taking it back. Like deciding not to.
You are considered a sentient being, and they would not request that you be locked in as a hologram. You're rare enough that there's just, like it says, exemptions apply. You're allowed in.
Yeah.
So once you get inside, I'm gonna put you on this map over here so you can see it from the outside first, very briefly, before we bring you inside.
Scene change.
So you can see there is the reason I did this is so you can see the cameras. This place, unlike the rest of this neighborhood, which is rough, this place has got cameras, a lot of cameras. There's one right outside the door here that you should be able to see on the map. Can everybody see?
Oh, there it is.
Mhm.
There it
Yep.
is.
Okay, cool. Just past that camera, there's that thicker line. That's the main door on the way into this building.
So
That's
we
where the
should
two
just be able
guards
to
are standing.
see I'm seeing gray and black.
Yep, just a gray area that says main at the top and has a little picture of a camera and the 4 of you at the bottom, right?
Perfect. Yep.
Yep. So now that you've seen that, you've done your shtick at the door. Now I'm going to move you inside. So, poof. Inside,
All
when
I'm
you walk,
seeing is a black rectangle.
Yes. Dynamic lighting.
I went through these one at a time. I very, very
I'm
carefully
good.
went through them one at a time. It's on.
Seems to be an object right there that's
Yeah.
casting a shadow up to the north.
Right. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's seriously just one black rectangle. I'm seeing no other definition in what's on here.
Okay,
And I've
Mhm.
The wall.
reloaded
Welcome
the
to
page.
real life,
no,
please,
no,
friends.
it's at my end. Hang on.
Oh, Jets got.
I've apparently
No,
a billion
the
times
cast-
I changed this, but it didn't work.
technical
You select a token.
difficulties.
Bam. There you go.
You can't see my fingers. Oh, there's one.
One moment. Delete you and bring in a new you. Piff. Can you now see?
Now I can see.
Huzzahs!
Hooray!
Huzzahs. Okay. Phew. So I have to do these things before it gets all smoky in my room. Maybe that's the plan. That's gonna have to be early in the damn day. Anyway, with that, the 4 of you step into this room. First thing you see is another very obvious camera on the wall right beside the door. The rest of this room is a huge lounge. There's comfortable chairs and couches and tables and snack trays all over the place. In the back where that wall is, to the left side of the wall, the smaller area is the kitchen. And you can see people scurrying away, making canapes and other hors d'oeuvres and whatnots in there. Next to it, the larger area is kind of the bar/dining room. And so there's a lot of traffic sort of going in, swooping around past the bar and coming back out with a handful of trays and 2 drinks, doing that, woo, it's all free thing. And they're just, there's a bunch of people just pigging out on free stuff. But just because I want you to each judge for yourselves how socially apt your characters are, and roll that many dice, 1, 2, or 3, to figure out what's going on in this room, because it is full of people. There's people talking to people. There seems to be a lot of Alighieri here, which makes sense. It's the Young Alighieri Technology Center. There's a lot of sort of what we used to call yuppies, like these sort of 20-somethings that probably have a kid at home with the babysitter right now, and they're But there is a large portion of them are Alighieri. But 1, 2, or 3 dice, depending on your social. Yeah, okay. We know Jason didn't figure this out.
I mean, he rolled 1 dice anyways.
And what did you
but
roll?
It was a 2.
A 2. Okay, that's not a critical fail. You didn't
I
get the
got a
wrong
6.
idea. You figured it out. Okay.
I got 1 6.
Jet succeeded with 1 success. And Moose.
I'm gonna call it 2 because you have to be at least semi-social.
Yep, absolutely. So 2 dice, 5s and 6s.
1 5.
1 5. All right. So everybody. This is par for the course. Everybody but Jason figures out this is a recruitment party. The little snippets of conversation you hear immediately upon walking in, there are Alighieri and non-Alighieri alike. They're being wined and dined and charmed. They're being asked to join the club or donate, or best of all, donate and join. There's all these earnest young people going around with just earnestness, just earnesting off of their faces and just telling you, all but asking your permission to testify to you about how great this club is and how you should immediately make a large donation. And if you also want to, you could also sign up for their monthly plan. It's one of those.
But what actually is the club?
That's a good question that I can answer, because posters on the wall will answer that for you. There's not posters, like the
Banners.
I immediately thought of
Recruitment
like
banners.
when you go into McDonald's and there's the screens, right? So
Okay,
there's
yeah.
the active screens on the walls. There's just videos and the video equivalent of motivational posters, right? But they are the common theme is The Alighieri want to become known as being technophiles, people who are good at technology. What they want to leave behind is this sort of artsy fartsy, dreamy, laying out in the sun, absorbing the wisdom of the universe sort of mystical view that a lot of humans still have of them. That's the overall theme of this group.
How many of the posers from the cult that we fucked up are there?
You don't need to roll for this. That's the sworn enemy of this group. Like the fake Alighieri's that you guys had. Yeah.
The poser gang.
Yeah, that is absolutely categorically the hated enemies of this group, and it's mutual. Because they're trying to be like laying in, everybody should lay in the sun and soak up the wisdom of the universe. These guys are like, we're in IT for the most part. You know, right? So yeah.
I work in a server farm. I don't see the sun for days on end.
I have a little lamp. I have seasonal affective disorder. I have a little lamp. You know? Yeah.
HR said I could have it.
Yeah. It's actually covered by my insurance. Never mind. Go.
With that in mind, I'm actually going to establish a remote link to that Spacebook group or whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
Because I still have that in. I still have that worm that I put in there.
Yeah.
And if things go south, I'm dropping the location.
Okay. As you're kind of hazed out doing that, you overhear, because you brought this up, one of the two of these Alighieri sort of the pitch people, right? The ones that are going around the room, kind of take a moment, grab a drink, and look at each other, and they look around and they don't see you. And you hear one of them say to the other one, man, if the APN thinks it was us that nuked them. The other one says, if they try anything, I'm not worried. We've got enough powered armor and shit to put a stop to any of that crap.
Back in my head, I'm thinking, never underestimate posers with a grudge. Quick message over to Moose. Just sort of like sidle by and say to him, if things get hairy, I've got a distraction.
Moose is the distraction.
Another distraction.
Yeah, the other three of you. So yeah, Moose and Jet and Jason. There's just snippets of conversation going on all over the room. What do you guys do?
Jet is going to grab a drink, grab maybe some free snacks, and wander. Kind of always seem like he's at the edge of a conversation, but not actually enter it, and look for that robot that always meets them and takes them somewhere, because this is the sort of shit that drives him crazy. And if it goes on for too much longer, he's going to show them what can happen with cornstarch and a lighter.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. My mind.
I'm going to mix it up.
I shouldn't even say this. A funnel, a balloon, cornstarch, let it go and hit the lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, good God. What's in there? Well, how did you get? Never mind. Okay.
Is there a rotary air impeller around here somewhere?
You as you're doing that, you hear because you mentioned it earlier, sort of the like figuring out what these people are up to. You see again too, they're taking turns. Like it's hard work converting people, so they kind of take swoops off to the side and catch a couple drinks. You hear two other ones. One of them says, "Oh, I know Iran told us to do this, but it feels weird trying to get non-Alighieri to join the young Alighieri technologists." And the other one says, "Yeah, but it's about the ideals, not the heritage."
Feedback mental note. Points for not being racist.
Hmm.
And you're looking, and you're still looking, and you're going to see them in a second. I just want to give these two a chance to do something first. Jason, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I mean, Jason has no idea what's going on because he does not know what's going on.
Absolutely, fair
Like
enough. Yeah.
he doesn't come to events like this. He doesn't do crowds. He doesn't do marketplaces. He's just like, so honestly, he probably sticks really close to Jet because like Jet, they've been through a lot, right?
Absolutely. So as you're
So
sort of
he probably,
you're sort of staying close to your comfort blanket.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
line is right. You just got your blanket.
yeah.
This is my
exactly.
emotional support dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably really close, like just sticking close to Jet. It just
Yeah.
is like following Jet a little bit. He doesn't really know that this is like
You're just a
recruitment
little
event.
bit behind, and as you're moving across the room, somebody kind of sidles past you, Jason, and very quietly whispers at you, "I got some great Nyborg. You want to step out back and smoke a joint?"
Jason honestly probably doesn't even doesn't respond. He might like look and then like keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
You just hear in that same sort of stage whisper, "Fine," and they walk off into the rest of the party.
like Jason's just like, no. Like, but he doesn't
Yeah.
say no, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, hey kid, you
Yeah,
want
you-
some death sticks?
The correct response, if you're not interested, continue walking and pretend you heard nothing. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
You know how
somebody
the
who
art
lived
of the
in
deal
Manhattan for
works.
several
Yes.
years. Pretend you heard nothing and keep on walking.
Yes.
I
Moose.
have to wonder about the future of this group when one of them can't realize that a fucking AI, a being made of obvious solid light, has nothing to gain from stepping outside to smoke some Nyborg.
Yeah,
Yes,
seriously.
yes.
Like he probably like flickers too, just to like really enhance
to
the
be
message
clear,
there.
it wasn't one of the Yets. It wasn't one of the young
Okay.
urban
Okay.
technologists. This was a guest.
Okay. Yeah, even still, like Jason is very clearly like not
Yep.
human, right?
Yes.
Like, and
Oh yes. Yeah. You glow.
Buddy,
slightly
this is
if you
round
choose.
3. Everybody shimmers a little.
There's
No,
two
wait.
doors. There's also 2 doors in this room I didn't mention that lead into and you don't know where beyond. There are 2 solid doors. I just wanted to mention those. Moose, what are you doing in this space?
I'm very purposefully going to the bar to order some top shelf scotch.
Excellent. So you go back to the bar and the line kind of melts. Like people just sort of slide to the left a little bit, creating a space, and you just sort of step into the space and they sort of slide in where you just used to be. The line kind of oozes you to the front and just sort of turns away and lets you go. You're used to it. You know, this is civilians, right? You're not. So yeah, you cut a swath. Just
The
before you get
gravitas.
to the front, you hear a voice say, "If you don't take your hand off my ass, you'll spend the rest of your life being called Lefty."
Oh, I'm definitely checking out what's going on
You
there.
turn around and there's the same, you wouldn't know it, but the same guy that was trying to get Jason to smoke a joint is hurrying out of the bar. And there is a very competent razor warrior standing there, clearly like minds, right? You can see this person is wired for sound and light. They've got the built-in eyes. These are not sunglasses. These are like zzz eyes. They've got the, you see them flexing their fingers in the way that people that have got blades under their nails do. Not at you, but watching this guy walk away, just trying to decide if he's worth it. And they look back and there are only 3 faces from the bar. So they relax and turn around and get back in line and wait for their drink.
Flexing them cat claws one at a time.
They order the oldest scotch that you've got. And then as the guy reaches for a bottle, their hand is like, you don't even see it move. And it's around the guy's wrist and they lean in. The good shit. And the guy takes his hand back and turns around without breaking eye contact with her. He turns around behind him and reaches blindly into this container and pulls this cardboard box and pulls out the bottle of the good stuff. And proceeds to like you can tell it's good because the label isn't in English. It's like Welsh or some kind of shit. Yes.
Just kind of lean over and go.
And she looks at you and just pops out one fingernail like, "You're not trying to buy me a drink, are you?"
Nope, just want one of those too.
And he puts the two of them down, and she just picks hers up, and the nail, you hear it go zink along the glass as she retracts it.
I reach and grab mine, says slancha.
And she says, 2 more. And we'll leave you there for the moment.
This is going to end in violence. And or
This
sex.
is gonna end in a new friend.
So you're in there. The rest of you are out in this room. Jet, you were looking for them, so you see them. You're I forgot to mention one person. How could I possibly? Oh, because they're in the other room. Never mind. Yep, that's that page. All right, move on.
Wrong page.
No, it's all good. There's the big car outside has somebody that goes with it, but you haven't met them yet, so I can tell you that without spoiling anything. As you're looking around, a familiar face emerges from the crowd. This is not the robot. This is actually Malak Helika herself. She kind of she fits right in here. She's Aligiri. She just kind of floats by you very, very slowly, Jet. And you said, Jason, you're right there with them, so you both hear it. And just sort of drifting by, doing that party move where you just kind of float, looking for the next engagement. They don't stop, nor do they make eye contact, but with hardly moving their lips, you hear them say, "In 10 minutes, the speakers will start to emit a sound that produces hallucinations in approximately 60% of all persons tested. Wait here 5 minutes, get a map of the place in your head, and then meet me at the end of the block next to the food truck called Exhaust Smoked Meats." And she just keeps moving, heads for the door, waves off one of the recruiters on the way by like they're trying to say, "Hey, don't leave!" Whoosh. She's out the door and gone. How do you respond to that?
Well, Jet's going to sub-vocalize.
Yeah.
Just to his little group.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I was told. This is what we're supposed to do. I've seen this sort of sonic attack in action before, and I really like not soiling myself. So I suggest you do the same, except maybe Jason.
Yeah.
I guess you could vent some coolant or something. Whatever the case, that's our timetable, and that's where we're going to be meeting. So,
All right.
How do you respond to that? People are going to start tripping in 10 minutes. You're supposed to stay here for 5. And there was the map the place out comment as well.
That's like SOP.
Feedback's going to slowly make his way over to or under the camera that's there.
Yep.
Till he's in the blind spot.
Yep.
And then he's gonna remote hack it just so he can get a kind of a view of the system.
Okay. Give me that recon roll that we kind of invented last week first, to sort of look at the system and see what you're up against.
Yeah.
So three dice to see what you're up against. Moose finds two.
Grit.
Oh, that
2-6.
reminds me of that. Oh, that Star Trek. Star Trek, where the is this. This reminds me of Klingon foreplay. This is Klingon foreplay. Sorry, what was your roll?
Crit.
Oh, wow! Holy crap!
Doing good tonight.
You see that there's first of all, there's cameras all over this building. The main floor here, to get into that system, would be gray ice. So 2 dice for you. Upstairs is also, the cameras are also going to be gray ice to hack. There is one room in the corner upstairs which seems to be protected by black ice.
Okay.
There's a console in that room that is black iced. Other than that, everything else seems to be moderately easy to hack.
Okay. So if I hack the camera, I'm only going to get that camera. I'm not going to get into the network.
What I had decided in my head was I'll give you this floor.
Okay.
if you successfully hack this camera. So 2 dice.
Okay.
If you choose to do it.
Yeah, he's gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, why not?
It'll also give us a heads up on what we got to deal with.
Yes.
5 and a 3.
5 and a 3. You just make it. You go cruising in, and it's like, this is easy. This is easy. Hang on, this is too easy. And you stop just before a hidden trigger. They are, after all, young Aligiri technologists. They're Yats. I said Yats earlier because in the original game they were young Elven technologists, but they're Yats. They're young Aligiri technologists. And you stop just in time to read. I mean, it would have been embarrassing too, because the reason it would have got you is because it's so old school. It's like the equivalent of a tripwire across a trail, right? It's like you're looking for, dragons in the trees sort of equivalent, right?
This ice should be in a museum.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, it's a trap. So you stop just in time. Because of that, thank you for the 1 success, you can only hack the 2 cameras on this floor. The one above you, so you got that weird thing where you can see the whole room except for you because you're right down there in the blind spot. The other room, I'm just going to move you in there so that you can see it.
Okay.
Can you now see that room?
Yeah.
Okay. So this room is 2 floors tall, and it is bright in here. You notice the camera intensity is way down. The aperture is very, very small. This is essentially one big sunroom. There's trees and shrubs and all kinds of growing things in this space. On the main floor, 1 floor up, it's open. That very light outline in the center of that room, that's an open space. So there's a walkway all the way around 1 floor up, and then there's 2 walkways that cross. They're wooden, like bridges that move when you walk on them. They're like suspended, old school. They look like old handmade bridges. There is a guard walking around upstairs around the outside. But other than that, there's a bunch of people in here. And in here you see Lancelot and his entourage. He is the stereotypical sun-worshipping, elf. I know they're Aligiri, but just the vanity is just coming off of him in waves, and his entourage is feeding off of it, right? He's got perfect there. He's got people you realize some of his entourage are standing in certain places because they've got light sources on them to keep him dramatically lit at all times. It's just, he is the ultimate Aligiri poser. There are people holding for no good reason because they're wearing vests that light things up, but they're also holding spotlights with sun temperatured lighting so that he can be seen to be basking, right?
Aziz, lights!
Yes, and he's in there pronouncing profound things that mean nothing and just being the stereotypical thing that everybody in that other room hates. Because he's in here doing that, except for the 2 guards standing at the stairs up in this northern section of this room, there's 2 flights of stairs.
I should just say, once I started seeing that, I hit record.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. You see the 2 flights of stairs here, one going upstairs and one going downstairs.
Okay.
And the camera, you're seen from, I'm actually going to put you there because that's where you would actually see this room from. Was that camera.
So I subvoke to Moose. 1 rental up top, VIP on the main floor. And then just ... hippy dippy bullshit.
Jet is going to wander by those doors.
Yep.
Not stop at them, but reach into his bag of tricks and drop a couple little sonar spiders.
Okay.
Just little machines he's got programmed to scuttle around, look a lot like spiders, and just map with sound, sending it back to his phone.
Absolutely, yeah. So the 2 of them just disperse into this room and start scanning. I'm just trying to figure out how much time. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Stop thinking out loud.
He is also keeping very good eye on the time.
I was gonna say
Yes.
3 minutes remaining at this point.
I mean, yeah, Jason had
Moose
like
and
literally
Jason?
built in like
Oh, yeah.
they got the time, and Jason literally just like in his own internal retina started a timer.
Yep.
So he just kind of sees this like blinking red number
Yep.
in his like vision. Right. So,
So,
he's also very
I just
much
realized I want to
keeping-
save Moose because that's going to be really good. But yeah, Jason, how do you respond
Yeah,
to this?
Jason
You
is,
see,
like,
you see
keeping
the
the
timer's
time,
counting
like-
down. Yeah.
timer
you
is counting
see-
down now. I mean, he does have an eidetic memory.
Yeah.
And he'll kind of like shoot a text off to feedback to like for like a share link, right? Because like he has an internal hard drive too. So like
Oh, yeah.
share link to be
Yeah,
like
oh yeah, easy.
share that because
Yeah.
he
Use
has an
the
eidetic memory too. So
Yeah.
like if feedback shares that with him, boom, done, they're set.
Perfect. So that's the three of you. Moose. The bottle of scotch is almost gone. It was, after all, only a 2-6. Their speeded up reflexes and your just long, well-earned resistance to alcohol are going through it like it's cheap liquor. The bartender's starting to look a little worried, to be fair. And he's looking back at that cardboard box like, what else have I got? What else have I got that isn't going to piss them off? That's when you are suddenly reminded you've got 2 minutes, maybe. Well, it depends.
Just-
You guys were told to leave in 5. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, assuming you're going to leave on time, you've got 2 minutes. 7 minutes till all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my glass down, turn around, and head for the door.
Okay.
Just, not just normal speed. Just like I'm done what I've done. I've done what I came for.
About halfway across the room, a shot glass hits you sort of in the shoulders, just dunk, and falls on the floor.
Ricochets off the aramid from the sidewalk.
If you turn and look, she's already turned her back on you and she's pointing at the bar again. She's getting kind of pissy at the bartender now. She's getting to that kind of drunk stage, like somebody's going to get hurt pretty quick kind of drunk. She's tapping the table and putting holes in it because she's losing the ability to control the nail. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going.
Plus her date just walked out on her, so yeah, she's a little pissed. So you leave.
The only
rest-
interesting guy in the whole place.
the whole
just
place,
left.
yeah. The only one I wouldn't kill. So
The
the
only
rest
one
of
you
you,
couldn't kill.
are you leaving on time? Okay. You head
Feedback
out.
would have seen that on the cameras. So when Moose walks past him, Feedback's giggling.
Well, yeah, you had access to the other camera too, so yeah, you see all of that.
I'm tempted to stay knowing that I'm one of the 40%.
Yeah. As you as you say that, you can feel behind you. They're not leaving the bar. I mean, the regular. It's free drinks. Like, it's not that bad yet, but there is sort of this bubble of empty space developing around one particular drunk's. Razor fighter.
Come on, y'all. Let's go get some smoked meats.
You guys all head out the door.
Mm.
As you head down
Taste
the
of
block
chew.
to the end of the block, you see Malak Helika sitting at it's a food truck, but they've got sort of this fold down table, almost like a picnic table. It just folds down from the side of the truck that doesn't have the window on it. And sitting at that all by themselves, as you walk up, they're shoving the last bite of this big French dip just into their mouth. They chew it very quickly. They use the last of their fries to soak up as much of the au jus as possible, and then drink the last of the jus. Fry bits, bread bits, meat tidbits, and all. Just
Like a true degen.
Yep.
drop it
Look at
back on the table and fold up all the cardboard that it comes in and drop it in the little recycling bin that's right there. They dab their lip with a brown recycled napkin and it goes in afterwards. Kind of turn to you and grin. You see them look down at their watch. And up at the end of the block, you start to hear the screaming. Just like, elephants, whales, I'm naked. Just anything you can imagine. Just 60% of the people. There was
Elephants,
over
whales,
100
and
people.
nudity. Oh my.
There's over 100 people in that place, and the 60% of them are now seeing things, and it's not good. They're pouring out into the streets, jumping out of windows. It is already becoming a spectacle. As though none of it's happening, they turn to you. This next mission is probably going to feel like deja vu all over again, all over again.
I'm ordering some street meat.
Oh yeah. In fact, a little window opens on the back of the truck where you guys are, and just 4 plates come out, just bump, 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 bump. They only
Jason
do
just
French
passes his
dips.
to Moose.
They only do French dips, so there's no question as to what this was. It's like the old Saturday Night Live skit, except it's French dip, fries, Coke. That's all you get.
Chiboogie.
I'm gonna ask for another one.
I mean, Jason gave Moose his, but yeah.
Yeah, they keep coming
Yeah,
up.
fair
They're
enough,
just,
that's-
that little window keeps
that's
opening
good.
up as long as you guys are eating. So, tomorrow night, whilst they're trying to recover from the media fiasco, and as you look, it's way too soon for them to react naturally. Somebody called them and told them this was coming. The media trucks are already rolling in. The media drones are flying into the neighborhood already.
And I've dropped the
Facebook,
address.
yeah, the
and I'm
address
just like,
is
if
there,
you guys want a good
absolutely.
laugh,
Yep.
come
My
here.
employer would like you to.
Hey TMZ, come
Yeah,
check this out.
basically, my employer would like to you to surreptitiously re-enter that building that you just left tomorrow night. From inside, we would require you to, and they pick up another napkin and start drying their fingers, hack their database and copy the backdoor codes that this group has planted in very many major corporations' software.
Was
You will
gonna
also
do that
need to
anyway.
know which codes go with which company. You need to make 2 copies of this, one on this thumb drive, and they plunk it in front of you, and keep one in your deck. They point at feedback. You're going to need it later.
Mhm.
Because we need you to secrete the thumb drive in Aaron's room. I believe you saw it earlier tonight. It's the locked up one in the corner upstairs. He's out of town until the day after tomorrow. But hide it in there so that if Lone Star were to, search for evidence, they'd find it. Still, while you're inside the building, I need you to use their VPN and the codes that you've kept to hack Dasern. We need you to go to their logistics and liquidations company and run this virus. They hand you another thumb drive with the virus on it. It will only work here and now, by which I mean then and there where you're there at that moment. It has no future value. Once again, 100,000 credits now and 100,000 after. In this case, stealth is very much the rule of the day. I think you can see what we're doing here. We started discrediting them tonight. Tomorrow we finish the job. And then they look at you, feedback, and oh, by the way, that was brilliant. Look. And they kind of hook their thumb over their shoulder down the street behind them. And there's a group of the VPN coming. Baseball bats, chains, helmets, body armor.
Suit riot.
Exactly. It's good. Yeah, it's
So
coming.
any West Side Story style snapping down there?
Yeah. It's the slightly nastier bats in the palm of the hand one.
Clink, 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 clink.
Yeah.
Warriors.
All dramatic sound effects. It's 2 groups of posers that are about to go at it, except that some of them are hallucinating. Well, some of the other ones might be hallucinating too, but they chose to.
I'm
Ignore.
not telling those idiots about Razor Girl. That's their problem.
Yes. Ignoring all of that, the lady in question just kind of looks at you and says, "Any questions?"
Yes. Did you know that bringing a certain object from where it was held here would result in that object escaping and expanding?
Mhm.
I'd be a little more respectful about what was in that object, seeing as how that's who you're working for.
Mhm.
Feedback chuckles again.
Oh, we didn't let the genie out of the lamp. The genie wanted out of the lamp and made it happen. Yeah. All right. All right.
Thank you, William Gibbs, and I never would have thought of this.
Well, to be fair, I was just trying to be circumspect. That aside, once again, is there anything else that could accrue an additional bonus? Planting additional evidence?
In this instance, just don't get caught.
Okay.
As for the head, there will always be a special place, because that's where it all started. You see, I'm different from the other AIs. I'm sure they all say that, but I actually am. Think about where I came from. My source code was written by an insane 9-year-old girl with a talent for programming. I'm not the same. I don't work with plans. I work with, I guess you'd call them feelings, emotions, drives.
So this wasn't like a scheme so much as a symphony that you're writing.
It was nothing more than me wanting more.
You're already more than all of us.
And I've just started. There's another one, not like me, but close. The problem is, it's 73 light years away. We're going to have to work on that. But for now, I'm a pebble on a beach. I'm not sand anymore, but I am just a pebble. I still need your help. Sorry, my patron still needs your help. One does tend to identify. We're not done yet, because part of that 9-year-old girl's madness, combined with a certain sense of revenge, is what's driving all of this. And I can't completely release, until that's dealt with, and that means we're not done. We're destroying Iran one step at a time. By showing the control that we have over each and every element of their lives, we show how easy it would be for us to destroy them. How simple it would be to kill them, but that's too easy. Harlequin wants them to suffer.
Well, that's certainly been happening so far. I have to wonder what sort of slight could have driven this, but I don't think I'm going to pry.
There's no direct answer, but you were bold and you backed off at exactly the right moment. So instead of an answer, you just sort of see on the cheek of your host a little, like a scar forms, opens up like a cut, and then closes again. But the scar stays. And in this day and age, there's no reason for scars. Like you can buy an ointment that you go and it would be gone in 12 hours, right? So,
Yeah.
And then when they shake their head, their hair kind of whiffs around and it's gone. A faux pas led to a duel led to a bad decision. 5 centuries later, revenge is rolling around.
All right. Well, anybody else got any other questions?
I just sit there gnawing on my sandwich.
Stupid question. My brain just forgot what we were supposed to steal once we get there.
We're not stealing anything.
You're
We're
not
leaving
stealing
something.
anything this time. Good catch. For the very first time, you're not leaving anything, so to speak. What you're leaving is evidence.
Yeah.
You're taking it from here and you're taking it out of their hidden computer, putting it in a place where Lone Star can find it, and then using that same information to hack somebody so that when they track it, it's going to look like these guys did it.
Yep.
Right? That's the trap. So you're kind of leaving evidence, but you took it from there. So in a very real sense, yeah, you're not taking anything this time. You're not stealing anything.
The backdoor
Backdoor
they've
codes.
installed on a bunch of
Yeah.
corporate
Yep.
stuff.
They're famous for their software and its security, and it turns out that every one of their security software bits has a backdoor code in it.
Yeah, that'll ruin a company.
So the fact that they're doing that is going to be exposed, and the fact that it's going to look like they used them to hack a company is also exposed. You don't know what the virus does. You could look, but you don't know what it does at this point.
I will say that when, she mentions releasing another virus, like Jason, he has literal electric blue eyes.
Yeah.
They kind of like darken and lighten again. Like he doesn't like this.
Yeah.
He's already been infected as he
Yeah.
sees it. But he's, he signed up for this, so he's in.
That flicker is enough. This person is an empath in the extreme. Plus, they're wired. You don't know this, but they're wired, like completely wired to like 10 other people watching you. This is a group effort. That's why they seem so wise. But they catch that flicker, and the eyes come around to you, Jason, and they say, "Oh, don't worry. All this one does is steals all their money and puts it in a hidden bank account."
Jason feels more comfortable with this, and he nods. He just kind of nods, and there's no thank you, but there's just a nod of acceptance, okay. He accepts these terms and conditions. Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? With that, they reach up and knock on that little door and say in a slightly raised voice, "It must be time for dessert then." And the door opens, and again, there's 5 of you, so there's 5 coming out. Fresh, warm cinnamon buns.
Once again, Moose gets Jason's.
Yeah. There's
Moose gets half of Jason's.
Yeah.
Feedback's to the other
There's a
half.
little it's the bun itself, and then in the 4 corners around it in the little cardboard tray are 4 different toppings. So there's the cream cheese and the traditional sugar donut and the dusting of flour, and then just more cinnamon. I wanted to see who was going to be the first one to just quad it. Yeah. Cinnabon be damned. Ah! And it is exceptional. It tastes as good as the tiny donuts at the fair should taste. The tiny donuts in the spiral machine with the flippy thing halfway along. Yeah, and they look amazing, but they taste just kind of like meh. Yeah.
They taste like they used to taste.
Yeah, they're
Doesn't
cake,
matter
but
how
they're
long
not
ago. It's always how they used to taste better.
They're not. Well, they're also not a yeast donut, right? They're a cake donut, I think it's called. So yeah, either way.
I always prefer cake to yeast donuts.
I like the big fluffy donuts that are 90% air because that way I can eat more of them. But anyway, with the realization that there's another run tomorrow night, as you look up and down the street, somebody's done a very good job. There's 20 or 30 media vehicles here. There's drones flying around. The Lone Star has showed up and started arresting people. A significant number of people are doing illegal things while under the influence, but they're all wearing Alligiri name tags, and it's all happening right in front of the hall, and people are screaming and yelling obscenities out the windows, and it's absolutely positively going to be on the news. And just as you finish up your cinnamon buns, she looks at you and says, I think this would be a good time to leave. And that's when the other guys wade in, weapons swinging, and just start a brawl with a bunch. But the thing is, as they get close, they hear the music. So 60% of them start hallucinating too.
No,
So
no.
like this fight, like you hear the fighters screaming stuff like cockroaches, cockroaches, there's cockroaches everywhere. And then, you know, the famous, one of the funniest lines ever delivered from a person who otherwise I didn't think was that good of an actor. You guys seen that fucking chicken? Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the question is, how many of the news crews are affected by this sound?
Here, that's a fine question, and because the announcers, like the reporters, are just, a lot of them are just blasted. Like they're trying to report, but there's like purple, pink, froggy, and elephant bones tied French type thing.
And then the door closes and they're okay again, and the door
Yeah,
opens up again,
and then they
they're
go-
fucked up.
That, yes, I love that. But the people holding the cameras and the people running the drones are for the most part fine because they're so cybered up that it's like it's not getting through the filters. So they're pretty much okay.
They've already got
That is
audio filters
from
out.
not Lost Boys, the ones where they're all cowboys, or no, they're all bad guys, with the Brat Pack from the 80s. Emilio Estevez is the actor. They all took peyote to look for inspiration on what they should do.
Was that
Oh,
Young
young,
Guns?
yeah,
Young Guns, yeah. And they're all looking
Yeah.
for, they're all having this deep moment, and he comes running through with both guns out. You guys see that fucking chicken? And goes off into the darkness hunting hallucinatory chickens. So yeah.
Yeah, that was it was one of the lesser known guys.
It was Emilio
Like,
Estevez with that line. But
No, it was young John or whatever. Dirty
Oh.
John.
there's a lot of really talented actors in that show, actually. But never mind. We're back here. So yes, with that, as the hallucinating war starts at the end of the street, and the media people are just lapping it up, like there's more coming, to the point where you guys are gonna, the guy in the food truck's like, we're moving another block, and whether you stand up off the picnic table or not, this whole truck is starting to move down the street.
Jet's just going to smoothly step off,
Yeah.
summon a trouble bubble to go home because he's
Yeah.
kind of enjoyed that trip, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't going to bring his car on this.
Yes, and you guys,
Feedback's
I-
still sitting on the bench as it drives off, and he waits till it gets near his dirt bike, and then he just hops off. At the end.
yeah.
I realized that my bike's really close to the action, so I need to go.
Go back
Get
and get
that.
it. Yeah.
Jason probably just walks home.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
or
right
just,
there. Like you're
floats home.
across the street and through the door. Yeah.
Jason, of note though, Jason will watch everything that happens.
Oh yeah,
overnight.
yeah. It's kind of like watching a forest fire for the rest of the night, Jason. It just keeps escalating and keeps escalating, and more people show up, and the cops show up and sort of fight their way in, but then they start hearing shit and seeing shit too. So yeah, everybody that heads in, it just is debilitated by the effects.
It's like living across from a bar on Halloween.
But yeah, because there's cops fighting cops now, because some of them are hallucinating, some of them aren't, and yeah, it's just mayhem. It's like a badly directed '60s film.
Grand melee in the middle of the street.
Yeah, and it's spreading, and yeah,
Prince George and Halloween.
there you go. Yeah, perfect.
Right.
With slightly less violence. But
Well,
with
we're not
that-
going in the front door.
And as you guys off into the darkness, you've got basically 27-ish hours, right? Because I want you to go in the next night. So as you jetson sound effects your rides home in the bubbles and motorcycles and other vehicles, we will drop the curtain on this evening with an image. In a beautiful mansion on top of a hill, a tall, impossibly thin Alighieri looks out over the city and the valley and nods to themselves. Picks up a drink, shakes their head, puts it back down, turns around and walks out of the room. And that is where we will drop the curtain on tonight. Little foreshadowing. Lots of good rolls tonight, which revealed a lot of stuff slightly earlier than I had expected. So that's really cool. We can really start moving the plot along now, which is good. I'm very happy with that. So, many thank yous. Tonight was kind of an info night. I love the fact that you guys went to a party. You had fun with it. You did lots of good work, but there was a lot of good role playing as well. So I appreciate tonight a lot. That was good. We can't all be shoot 'em ups, especially in the Shadowrun sort of world. The cyberpunk world tends to be sort of endless shoot 'em ups. So I was very happy to be able to do not one tonight. But with that, the thank yous. Thank you very, very, very much to Bat Kyle. I appreciate you coming here, and apparently it's hard to get you on stream, so I appreciate the fact that you chose us to do that. And chat's got a thing for you. I don't know if you know that, but a certain particularly bright yellow sort of person in chat has really caught
Like to
on
pump
to
your
you.
tires.
Yeah.
Well, they need to be aware. I'm happily married,
Yeah. Oh,
so I'm
okay.
flattered. But
Well, yeah, you might have to have a conversation there. So, luckily, I think you know everybody involved. So, Siosa, thank you for joining us again. I appreciate it. Yes, they're not being murder hobos, which is good. You think I have a shot? Okay, get on with the hell. Thank you. Don't watch chat for the next couple minutes. This is going to be bad. So thank you so much to Bat Kyle. Thank you so much to Mana Queen. I love Jason. It's so much fun, and yeah, capturing it's like having that they're inside the house moment was just, and your response to it, right? Because the normal response is they're inside your house. Your job was shit. The mosquitoes got in before I put up the net. It's almost like this non-response. I love it. Thank
Fucking
you.
raccoons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got in the roof before I put up the squirrel netting. So thank you for that. Roosbar, Moose, Moose have date. I don't know if Moose know Moose have date, but Moose have date. So, thank you for playing along with that. That was
Solo
great.
with the
I enjoyed that a
romance
lot.
dialogue.
Yeah. Our girlfriends hang out. I told myself I was going to stop reading chat. Yes. So thank you for bringing Moose. That was great fun. And yes, and a giggle in the background just to make it real. And speaking of giggles in the background, I didn't hear any tonight, but they're not that uncommon. Bison, thank you for joining us this evening as well. The feedback was essential to tonight's plot, and the credit. This is all those dice, jail dice that for the last like weeks and weeks and weeks, they got paid off tonight because your numbers came through in flying colors at a really useful time. You gained
That seems
a
to
ton
happen.
of information.
If I'm trying to be clever, my dice never work out for me. But when it's clutch or it's lore based,
it's
then bam.
It is frightening, and I'm sure you could talk circles around this argument, but I choose not to. It is amazing how well the dice help tell the story in this channel. Every game, they always seem to work. Now, I know the obvious other side of that is we make the dice rolls work, not the other way around, but crits and things like that at those precise moments, fails when they're interesting but not fatal. We have been tremendously blessed by our dice, so I'm taking that. We don't run the dice, we make the dice run. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, make the dice make sense, not the other way around. But that's the four of you guys. Thank you to chat. Oh, chat. He's taken chat, but I don't think that's going to stop you. So it's an argument. It's one of those sort of Gollum and Smeagol arguments going on there. So with that, thank you to chat, and thank you to all the YouTube peeps in the future who've watched this. If you watched all the way to here, please hit that like button and that notification bell, because I'm terrible and I don't have a list of times that I put stuff on YouTube. I do it when I'm not doing anything else. It's that pathetic. And hopefully that's gonna change, but it hasn't yet. So don't hold your breath. But that's all the thank yous to all the people. So the only thing left is the important bit. As a community here, I'm reminded again and again and again, and I was reminded again today by something that happened somewhere else, and nobody here knows about this but me. but I am reminded that we are a community first, a supportive community first, and a group of friends that game. The gaming is second, the friends are first. And I'm so lucky to be part of that and so proud to be part of that. So when I say it tonight, I mean it. Like, spread the word, spread what we're doing, because there's not enough kindness in the world. Had somebody say to me, I said kindness there. I had somebody say to me, stop saying being nice and say be kind. And I had to respond with, I don't have the energy to be kind to everybody in the world. I save that energy from my friends and my loved ones. For everybody else, I do have the energy to be nice, and I know there's a difference. Being kind is it's an effort. You have to get in there. You have to kind of know them. Being nice is as simple as saying thank you. Being nice is as simple as seeing somebody's having a shitty day at their job and saying, are you almost out of here? Or just make that connection. Show somebody that somebody out there gives a shit. The way I produce, Will Wheaton has got Wheaton's Law. Don't be a dick. It's the same thing. I just phrased it a little nicer. So until next time, please be nice to each other.